Hey guys, welcome back. It's 2023 and today I want to talk about 5 handguns. These are going to be 5 handguns that we've tested here at the Military Arms channel that we think that in 2023 make good concealed carry options. They're going to be in no particular order. I'm just going to pick 5 handguns, but the last handgun I show you will be my personal carry gun. So it will be my number 1. It's the gun I carry. So with all that being said, let's get started with today's video. But before we do that, if you guys would like to swing by and check out Second Legacy, if you enjoy political commentary, call-in shows, things like that, there will be a link in the video description below. I've partnered up with Braden from Langley Outdoors, and we're doing the Second Legacy to bring you that Second Amendment information. So with that being said, let's get started with today's video and talk about the 5 handguns I think are outstanding picks for concealed carry in 2023. So if you're looking for a handgun for concealed carry, you're going to need a quality holster to go along with it. We the People Holsters makes outstanding holsters. The holsters are made right here in America. It's actually a very large company. They have so many positive reviews on the internet of their products. I mean, it's tens of thousands of positive reviews of their holsters. They sell holsters of every make and kind that you can think of, different colors, different patterns, all sorts of cool stuff to choose from. They also sell coffee, they have gear, they have all sorts of stuff on their website to go along with your concealed carry gun and holster you may choose. So they're affordably priced. They're not silly expensive like custom leather holsters and things like that, so you can pick up a couple of them. I like holsters like this, which just clip onto my belt. They're very easy to slide on, especially in the summer. This is an outside the waistband holster. You can adjust it for tension by tightening this screw. This one has the carbon fiber Kydex on it. But yeah, it's a really, really nice holster, has a medium sweat guard on it, and very easy to use. So check out We the People Holsters. Great name, great American company, and get that holster that you need for that carry gun. All right, so the first handgun I want to show you guys will be a little bit controversial because Springfield did some really shady stuff a few years back. But despite that, this is actually a pretty darn good handgun. So despite their crimes, this gun is a solid choice and it's quite popular. And of course, I'm talking about the Springfield Hellcat, but this is the Pro. Now, Springfield saw what SIG had done with the P365, and they thought, we can do that. So they copied it. And the copied gun would be the Hellcat. But like the original P365, the original Hellcat was a much smaller handgun. The Pro extends that grip, giving it a longer grip, so you get your hand completely around it. You won't have a pinky dangling. Now, the original P365 with its extended magazine was a very ergonomic handgun for me, although just a little bit narrow in the grip. This gun has a fuller grip. Now, here's its magazine. This is a standard capacity flush fit magazine. It holds 15 rounds. I do have Federal 124 grain ball loaded into here. Federal does supply the ammunition free of charge to the channel. Been using ammunition my entire life. Love Federal, love the guys over there, great people. Looks like I only have 14 rounds loaded, but it does fit flush into the grip of the gun. The Hellcat Pro does have the option of mounting a red dot sight to it, forward slide serrations, and it seems to be a quality handgun. It does do pretty darn well. People have really been enjoying these guns over at Copper, sold a ton of them. So a few things I don't like about it. First of all, the grip on this thing reminds me of a Japanese sports car. It just looks droopy. It's just kind of a weird shape. Has good texture to it, but it's just not very aesthetically pleasing. From here up, it's a sharp looking handgun. The serrations are good, things like that. It has, very easy to pick up sights, high vis night sight up front, and then you have a big deep U-notch here in the rear. I like these types of sights because they're very good for quickly picking up those sights in a stressful situation, but I also have a red dot sight mounted on top of it, and I do prefer red dot sights. I've been advocating for them for years, and it's good to see them actually starting to be used. Now, what's interesting about the Hellcat is that you're going to find it has no manual safety on it. This particular model doesn't, but you'll see molding back here, so that it is an option. But it has no ambi controls. So if you're a left-handed shooter, that's probably going to be a negative for you. Being a right-handed shooter myself, it doesn't really affect me. Trigger's decent on it. You have a witness hole in the top for a loaded chamber indicator. You do have a rail system down there for mounting a flashlight or other accessory. So overall, it's a fully featured gun, sans the lack of ambi controls. Now, the gun shoots extremely well, and I have found that it seems to be extremely accurate in my hands. It's one of the things that kind of draws me to it. These little guns sometimes can be not so accurate or easy to shoot. Actually, only had 9 rounds loaded, not even a full 14. But anyway, what's nice about the gun is that even with my large hands, I don't hit the slide stop on it and keep it from locking open a last shot fired, which is a problem I have with some handguns. And overall, again, shootability is really good. They're moderately priced, trigger's decent. It's not a bad option for those of you that can get around the whole issue that Springfield had a few years ago with them kind of screwing over gun owners in Illinois. All right, let's move on to the next one. One more thing I should mention about the Hellcat Pro, it's not quite a full-size handgun. It's not really a super tiny handgun. It's kind of somewhere in between, and so it carries really nicely, either inside the waistband or outside the waistband, and so it's just properly sized. That's what I love about that size of a handgun. I think it's kind of the future of concealed carry guns. But next, let's talk about a pocket pistol. Pocket pistols are handy because it's 80 degrees out here today. It's kind of nice if you have just shorts on, whatever, you need to run up to the store, just grab a pocket pistol, throw it in your pocket, run to the store, come back home, go about your business. Pocket pistols are very handy. They're also really small. One of my favorites is the Ruger LCP Max. This little guy is chambered in .380, very small handgun. I oftentimes do carry it actually in a pocket. You can get holsters for them and wear them on the belt, but this small of a gun really lends itself well to that pocket carry. I believe we have a full video on this gun. It is a double stack .380, and .380 is one of those cartridges that is kind of on the bottom end of cartridges that I would consider for concealed carry. It's still very potent. With the right ammunition, you're not going to find yourself wanting. It's not going to be like a 25 ACP. It actually has quite a bit of power. So it's an effective cartridge, been very popular for quite some time. It even was used by the US military at one point. Officers carried them, pistols chambered in this cartridge. So this gun has a 10 round and a 12 round magazine. This is the 12 round magazine. You can tell that by its extended base plate. And it's a semi-staggered magazine. So despite its really diminutive size, with that extended magazine, I get 12 rounds. It still fits in a pocket, and my pinky is supported by it. A decent trigger. The gun has an internal hammer on it. You'll notice it does not have ambi controls. So it just has a slide stop, slide release over here, no safety. Its takedown, it's not as simple as some guns. You know, Glock kind of really changed the game with how simple its takedown was. This gun has a cross pin in it, things like that, but it's still fairly easy to maintenance. Just read the manual, watch a YouTube video, show you how to take it apart. Has good sights on it. The earlier LCPs had very shallow, hard to pick up sights. These have dovetailed sights in them that are much larger. A deep U-notch, again, I love the U-notch. A nice large front sight, nice deep U-notch rear. So it has an outstanding sight picture. And for a .380, it's not very snappy. Many times you'll find little tiny .380 pistols that almost are painful to shoot. And this is not that gun. This gun has enough surface area in the grip that the energy that's transferred to your hand during recoil isn't that bad. It's evenly distributed in your palm, and it's actually a very comfortable gun to shoot. Great sights on this thing. It's really surprisingly pleasant. That's what I really like about the gun. It's very easy to shoot quickly and accurately, minimal recoil, very small in size, very lightweight, and even with a loaded magazine, you're not going to notice a thing in your pocket. If you haven't checked one of these out, you do yourself a favor and check one out at your local gun store. I think you'll like them. So a video like this would not be complete without probably the most popular handgun in the world. And I'm not talking about the 1911, I'm talking about a Glock. As you guys know, I oftentimes give Glock a hard time, but it's not because the guns are poor quality, unreliable, or anything like that. It's just that the guns haven't really changed much in the 30 plus years they've been producing them. And that's just me, just kind of being snarky. In reality, it's an outstanding handgun. That's why it's so popular. It's affordable, well-made, reliable, and Glock stands behind their product. Now this little pistol is the Glock 48, and I really like this gun. It's kind of in the same vein as the Hellcat Pro or the P365 Macro or guns like that. It's not quite, it's a little bit smaller, definitely more narrow than something like a Glock 19, but it's bigger than the original P365, right? So it's that somewhere in between gun, which again is what I think is the future for concealed carry handguns. This is just the right size. Now this gun's had some modifications done to it, modifications that I personally like. I do have a red dot sight on it. These are cut for a red dot sight with the MOS system. And then I have a magwell funnel here on the bottom. And then I have the S15 magazines in it. So these are the Shield Arms magazines. So this gives you 15 rounds, which, you know, Glock is one of those companies where Gaston kind of rules with an iron fist. and he won't do certain things. So I was talking to my friend James Reeves over at the Firearms blog, and I was asking him, why do they keep using the polymer magazines when if they just would have used steel, they could have got so much more capacity in the gun. But using that polymer is so thick that it limits the capacity of the 48s and guns like it. And he said, because Glock is sticking with tradition. Their magazines must be made out of polymer with steel reinforcements. And so they're just going to continue doing that, even if it means losing capacity. So enter an American company that steps up and goes, we can fix that. And now you have a 15-round magazine. Now, some folks have had problems with these. They've gone through several generational changes, but I've had pretty good luck with the S15s. Now, the gun does have the capability of mounting a light to it. As I said, it also has the capabilities of a red dot sight, great slide serrations. It's a good-looking gun for, you know, combat Tupperware, if you will, but it's very practical, very functional. I love the thickness of it, which is very narrow, and the fact that I can get 15 rounds in it just makes for an outstanding handgun, very competitively priced, and again, you have Glock standing behind it. Nice smooth recoil, 9mm, and again, just an outstanding option. 357 Magnum has an outstanding reputation as a fight stopper. The gun has been around for quite some time, or the cartridge, and again, a very, very popular cartridge. Well, revolvers aren't my thing. Automatics are, but a straight-walled case like the 357 Magnum doesn't lend itself well to reliability. And so many of the guns that chambered 357 Magnum as an auto-loading pistol just never did very well in the market. They're either expensive, unreliable, or both. So enter the 10mm. Another cartridge, no spring chicken, but the 10mm has ballistics that are very similar to the 357 Magnum. In many cases, it can exceed the 357 Magnum, especially out of the shorter barrels commonly used in snub-nosed revolvers. So 10mm is a great way to go. One of my favorite handguns of late is the FN 510. Now, what's kind of funny about that is I was never a fan of the 509. I thought it was just not a well-done gun. But the 510, both Jason and I were shooting this thing, and we were just blown away by how good it shot, the ergonomics, how it just totally tamed that 10mm cartridge. Everything about it was just amazing. Has a threaded barrel, the ability to accept a red dot sight, has suppressor height sights on it. This is its flush fit 15-round magazine, so you get 15 rounds of 10mm. But let's get rid of that and go to the 22-round magazine, which we only have 10 rounds loaded of Federal into it, but this is a 22-rounder. So this is kind of something left over from the MHS program where Glock and everybody else that submitted a handgun submitted an extended magazine. So like the P320 or the M17 has that extended magazine. I think that's what this was born from, these extended mags. But the gun has great ergonomics, has full ambi control, so you have an ambi mag release on both sides, doesn't require you swapping buttons around, has ambi slide stop slide release, outstanding sights, great serrations, sharp looking pistol, ability to take red dot sights, accessory rail on the bottom. It checks all the boxes, and it's 10mm. So this handgun is easily one of my favorite. And what's crazy is, if you watch the channel, you'll know I was a big fan of the SIG X10, still love the pistol, but this one replaced it, in my opinion, as being the top dog of the new 10mm autos out there. We need to do a full video on this gun because it certainly deserves one. Ah, 10mm, man. That's even more American than 45 ACP. Don't revolt in the comments, just accept the reality. All right, so now we're to number one. This is my actual carry gun. Comment down below, what do you think it is? Okay, suspense, done. P365 Macro. The P365 is a handgun I was extremely critical of when it first came out. Why? I loved the concept. It was revolutionary. What SIG had done with the P365 was change the game. So much so that literally everybody else that is a major manufacturer has introduced a handgun to compete directly with the gun. That's a sign of success. But the P365 was really small for people with large hands like mine. I was able to shoot it, really enjoyed it, but when they came out with the Macro and the other models in the lineup that have this larger grip that holds 17 rounds, I fell in love. Now, yes, the guns are getting bigger, right? They're getting more towards that Glock 19 size, but they're still quite narrow. They're still just a little bit smaller. And again, this is the ideal size for me for concealed carry. It's big enough to be fully manageable and controllable and used like a full-size duty pistol, but small enough to be more concealable. And that, to me, again, is ideal. So the P365 Macro has this integral comp, if you will, on the end. It's machined into the slide, has a slightly shorter barrel. It stops right about here. You'll notice that it does not have ambi controls, but it has a modular trigger system in it, so you can put a different trigger in it. And it has the slide stop, slide release. I like it because with my large hands, it's very far forward, which keeps it away from my big thumb from hitting it and not locking open. You can reverse the magazine release to either side for left-handed use. And it is cut for a red dot sight. This is the EPS Holosun, their new enclosed small red dot sight. This is the future. Yes, the mailbox is the future. Why? Because this is a sealed red dot sight. You can get it wet, you can dip it in the mud, whatever, just wipe off that rear glass lens and you have a red dot sight. You don't even have to see through the gun. So I'm a big fan of these, definitely the future. So this gun, this red dot sight, you're gonna see more of them, more products coming to market that would compete with this type of a gun coming out as we go forward, because this, in my opinion, as of 2023, is the ideal setup for concealed carry for my own use. The gun has forward slide serrations, has that, it's a 17 round magazine. I wanted to make sure. 17 round flush fit magazine. So I think it looks really, really sharp, unlike the Hellcat Pro that kind of looks like a droopy rear end. It has pretty much the same really aggressive stippling, but not enough where it's going to be like sandpaper against your body, but it's a very good looking gun all the way around. I really, really like it. So again, that modular trigger system will allow you to swap out triggers, put different triggers in it. It has the ability to mount lights. This is one of the little stream light, little mini lights that goes great with guns this size. So with the miniature sight, the miniature light, this is just a neat little tiny setup. The guns are competitively priced, so you're going to find it's right in the ballpark with Glocks and HKs and all the other guns out there that companies out there that sell guns like this. So yeah, now people will say, but the P320's hammer fired, you hit it with a hammer, it goes off, or you drop it, they fire, they go off in holsters. This is not a P320, folks. So if you're concerned about all that, picking one of these up isn't the same thing as buying a P320. It's a different gun. I've not read of any reports of this gun going off in holsters or whatever is going on out there with the P320s that folks are talking about. So this handgun has inspired confidence. I've shot it an awful lot, and yeah, it's just outstanding. Like other guns, it has that witness hole in the top of the barrel there, so it's kind of a loaded chamber indicator, and just a very, very easy gun to use. So that's it, my top 5 picks for 2023 of handguns that I would personally consider for daily carry. There's plenty of other guns out there that would make this list if I expanded it to the top 20 or top 50 handguns. These aren't the only options out there. These are just the ones, again, that I've tested, and I found that they are outstanding quality handguns that work extremely well. They fit my large hands. They just work well for me. So if you're in the market for something like this, check these out, but don't be afraid to check out other guns. If you're looking for a concealed carry gun, try to choose from a major manufacturer with a good reputation. That means you'll get good customer support. If you run into a problem, they'll take care of you. And generally speaking, the big manufacturers like SIG, Glock, FN, not only do they stand behind their products, but they generally make really solid, good products. So I look forward to your comments down below. What handgun do you like to carry? Is in my list, or did you pick something else? Again, comment down below. I look forward to those comments. Folks, if you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, please consider becoming part of our Patreon family. There's a link in the video description below. Also, right here on YouTube, you have the ability to support us in the age of demonetization by either clicking the thank you button or the thanks button or the subscribe button. And that would allow you to support us right here, again, on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Also, please swing by, check out Copper Custom. Thank you for 15 years of support. We'll talk to you guys soon.